Hey Aquarius, it is March 2020 reading for you. So if you are Aquarius sun, rising or moon, this is a general reading, but it might resonate. If it does, please drop me a like and a comment and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any future updates from me. And if you'd like to connect, you can find all the ways to do that over on my website, which is romywyser.com, and the details for that are in the description box below. Okay Aquarius, it is March. Let's see what the conversation coming through for you this month is. We're in Pisces season, still having a Mercury retrograde right now. It is going to dip into Aquarius retrograde between the 4th and the 9th before moving direct in your sign through to the 16th, which is going to give you a wonderful illumination of ideas and the wherewithal to be able to have a conversation that I think is really important. And I think that conversation, Aquarius, is going to be with yourself. As we're in second house in Pisces season, it is about your sense of value. High Priestess is what we open up your reading with, which I love the energy for. I think that you have gained so much wisdom. You know, we have a huge shift taking place this month because Saturn is moving out of Capricorn and into your sign, Aquarius, on the 22nd. In Capricorn through your 12th house, you know, you have been really put through it. I think the last couple of years have almost forced a complete acceptance of going to the deepest, darkest, most shadow aspects of yourself. And here's where you start to come through the other side and come into that sense of readiness for a complete reinvention of yourself. And that's what you're going to be working with over the next couple of years. So the wisdom that you have gained, the insight, the divine downloads that have frequently been given to you, even when you were in a place where perhaps you felt like you couldn't hear them or receive them, are all starting to come up to the surface through this month of March. So I think energy-wise, it's going to feel quite complex for you. I think you're going to be moving between some very old energies you're bumping up against as we're in retrograde, being reminded of situations and triggers that you've dealt with, really just to show you how far you've come. But also I think you're starting to feel into the new energy. And I think so many of us are ready for that lightness and that shift of Saturn moving into Aquarius to give us a radical new approach, a radical new way of living, of expressing ourselves, of communicating, of interacting with one another. And so you sit poised and in a position of power, quietly discerning and surveying and observing not only what's going on in your own life, but what's happening around you as you start to feel into the shift of that energy transit. So I really like that for you as we open up this reading. Now, we have on the 9th a beautiful full moon in Virgo, very healing, but it does have a square to Neptune. In this very Piscean season with that Neptunian energy and a retrograde, the kind of tendency, I guess, at moments to sort of slip into that very illusionary, deceiving kind of vibe is quite strong. And that full moon in Virgo is in your 8th house, so again, dealing with death and transformation. So, you know, it's not necessarily that the energies through the month of March all of a sudden, you know, come into this beautiful sense of lightness, but I do feel that you're more in control and you're almost so used to be, you know, touching that shadow aspect of yourself that, you know, you're allowing more of the Jupiter trine and the earthy anchor of that Virgo moon, very healing, to come through. I think the celebration almost that I get coming through with this card of the Three of Cups is about you celebrating yourself, celebrating how far you've come, wanting to connect and to perhaps share that story, to, you know, bond with soul family, to find people who resonate and are speaking your language. I think you're on a completely different frequency right now, Aquarius, and, you know, it's very important that you do kind of seek out the right types of energy to surround yourself with, to stop you slipping into that, you know, illusionary vibe that isn't really revealing the true nature of where you currently stand. I think if you're not careful, you could look at your life right now from two very different perspectives. And you know what the cards are saying and the guides are showing is that actually you should be seeing this from a moment of culmination and everything that you've gained and the gift and the blessing of all of this, and how you're about to use it as this really powerful kind of catalyst and activator for completely reinventing yourself, or an area of your life that needs the priority, needs to be adjusted or changed. So beautiful. We have card of the Chariot coming in, so it could be a Cancerian energy that you're also dealing with right now, Aquarius. But for me, the energy that is brought forth with this Chariot is just giving you a little bit of fire in your belly. You know, it's a cardinal sign, and it's giving you some mojo to actually move out of some quite heavy, deep energies in some of these transits that we're working through. You know, when we move into Aries season on the 20th, we also have an equinox. These equinoxes bringing in a powerful opportunity to rebalance and allow for a transformation and an energy shift to take place. And then we have Saturn moving out of Capricorn on the 22nd. So that whole kind of mid to the end part of March, I think you're really going to feel it, Aquarius. I think you're really going to feel the shift. Now, Aries season is third house for you, which I like because it's bringing in much more lightness. It's bringing in the expression and the communication, allowing you to not only start to converse with yourself, but also with others more easily. So perhaps if you've come up against some challenges through retrograde and being able to connect or vibe in the way that you needed to with, you know, with colleagues, co-workers, family members, you know, your partner or friends. And I particularly think maybe from a friendship perspective, maybe you've held back or felt a little bit on the periphery, on the outside edges of things as you've sort of tried to find your feet and kind of work out what direction you're moving toward. But I think what's really nice is that these two major arcanas, they're very clear-minded, they're very forward-focused. So there isn't that tendency to be derailed. You know, I think even though March is set to have some profound impact on the way that you're thinking and feeling, if you can bear in mind, beautiful Queen of Wands energy, if you can bear in mind, Aquarius, that you are ready for this change, and that actually at a deeper soul level you want the change. So however it's being illuminated to you, you are stepping up and showing up to be able to take control and feel empowered. So Queen of Wands, I love this fire energy for you. I think it's illuminating the ideas, the inspiration, and the wherewithal to just say, okay, if there's an area that just has felt lackluster or I haven't been able to get moving, now I feel more re-energized. Of course, Queen of Wands is very linked into the sign of Aries, or it could be a Leo or Sagittarius, another fire sign. I think that as the embodiment, though, of this energy, which I see more powerfully, you are bringing about radical change with a sense of passion and compassion for yourself. And it's coming from, it's almost like you taking the wisdom and, you know, celebrating what you've learned, and then finding, you know, just the bravery. I want to say that, the bravery and the courage to do what you need to do. And I think you're going to feel really good about yourself as we edge our way towards the end of the month. And of course, we've got Mars moving into your sign on the 30th, which is going to be wonderful energy as we then move later into April to help you galvanize your energy levels to direct towards what you want to. Five of Wands could bring about, you know, a little bit of conflict, I think, within you, because what I sense for some of you, Aquarius, is that the choices and decisions that have been illuminated perhaps haven't sat particularly comfortably with you, and perhaps they're going to have quite an impact on people around you, you know, whether it's family members or, you know, you're making changes in a friendship group, you're deciding to, you know, just radically overhaul your life in some way, and not everybody might be on board with that. Not everybody might like the new you. Not everybody might be comfortable with what you have to say now post, you know, transit of Saturn, post Pluto Saturn conjunction, post eclipse energy, post. It just, you know, I have this sense that your ability to transport yourself further into the future now is really being activated once more, and with that you're getting a real clear vision about what needs to happen. So you may have a little bit of friction happening around you, and maybe even some inner dialogue that's kind of trying to speak up and cast doubt over some of those ideas that you have about what you need to do or what you're going to implement or change. Again, High Priestess is reminding to go deeper than any kind of speak that comes from ego or any projection of anything that's happening in and around you, because everybody is still working through their own stuff right now. I think if we're looking at this from a relationship perspective, particularly those of you interested in love relationships, maybe there has been some situations with some outside interference or influence. I get, the odd kind of quarrel or disagreement really taking place through this month, but I have you, even though feeling slightly frustrated, needing to stand your ground, there is this sense of the journeying that you're on. I like the energy of Six of Swords coming through with the Chariot, because we are really looking at how you are moving forward and what you're going to take with you. And what or who makes the cut, I think is everything. So you're going to need to take some time through this early part of the month, as we're still in retrograde, to do that reevaluation and that edit with yourself, because I think this is what's really going to make the difference of how you feel within yourself. It's a time to release any energies that are just not on the same wavelength as you, or represent anything that's toxic or unhealthy, or especially dragging you backwards. I think some of you may be making major shifts and changes in and around your work and career, really deciding that particular aspects of it no longer work for you, even if they're doing quite well or have done very well. This is a time to be a little bit brutal, I think, with what you're going to implement. But I know that you feel really guided about it, and with that Queen of Wands ability to sort of manifest and, I don't know, like really spin gold with things, I'm not worried, because anything that is to the outside world looking like a strange move, or one that they can't quite get their head around, I think you know exactly what you're doing this month, Aquarius, and you need to trust in that. You need to be really clear about what's necessary for your own well-being, relationships, even though I have this disagreement, this kind of quarrel, or maybe just having to be really clear about what matters to you, where your priorities are, and perhaps even some time out, maybe a little bit of distance creeping in through the month. But I think you'll kind of work around that as we move more into Aries season, Aquarius. But this is about you taking stock and having this real big evaluation time. And I think there is this expectation that maybe at this time of the year in March, that everything should be getting going, and we're moving into that new energy cycle, and it's absolutely true, and the seeds are being planted into that springtime, especially in the northern hemisphere with equinox coming. But you are also just being given a little bit of a temporary, almost downtime. I just feel like you just need to take a moment, because I think some of the things you're about to implement are really big, and they need to be done carefully and managed in a way that feels right for you, because that's what's going to keep you committed and consistent to them moving forward. Anything done too rashly, too quickly, too recklessly, just because you're desperate to get out or move away from something or jump into something new, I think you could end up sort of having to do another reevaluation on. But Seven of Pentacles, I think, is coming in, particularly for those of you with a focus around what's happening in your work, to say that so much of the investment that you've made is starting to come through in a way that's going to feel more favourable, more in alignment with what your expectations perhaps were much earlier in the year. I think that maybe there's a little bit of discontent and disquiet happening for some of you with regards to results, or the ability to kind of, really gain the validation or have something moving. But remember that Chariot energy coming through and your Six of Swords is helping the flow, okay? There is a flow that is in your reading. And actually, you know, even this energy of Five of Wands, I think the contrast is going to serve you well, because it's going to get you even clearer. It's going to get you feeling quite up for the fight, up for the challenge, and just ready to kind of push something over the line. But just be careful about the timing of that. That's what I want to say, because sometimes, you know, we can kind of over complicate matters. We can push something beyond what it needs to, and we need to kind of let the energy settle and sort of do its thing a little bit. So we've got Seven of Wands. I think, you know, there is some challenge coming through in your reading for March. So however that is showing up for you, rest assured, I see you overcoming it, because you're coming up so defiant. I mean, maybe this Queen of Wands fire energy is somebody that is, you know, within your social circle or your relationships, and this is where you can identify where the challenge is coming from, Aquarius. But I see you having a clear outlook on where you want to be, not taking no for an answer, doing what you need to do to create a new set of circumstances for yourself to prepare for these bigger adjustments in your world. I think that you are also going to really gain the respect of people through this month of March, Aquarius. The way that you handle something, right? The way that you handle something, whether that be going on at work or a family or in your relationships, I really sense that you're going to look back and feel incredibly proud at the way that even if something triggered you, you then emotionally responded in a very different way. We have 3 sevens coming in at the root of your reading here. So this spiritual influence, along with a High Priestess, guiding you powerfully through this month, you know, giving you choices, giving you opportunities frequently to show yourself and those around you who you now want to be, how you're showing up, how you're leading with a different type of energy, what the radical implementation plan that you have been quietly working on behind the scenes is now being expressed in that kind of way. You may well have a little bit of uncertainty even before we are reaching the end of the month about the possibility and the potential of something really coming together, okay? I think that you have to, at this point, if you feel like you're not seeing the full picture or not getting enough validation, look back at the process, at how far you've come, take stock and see where the light is shining on the value of what you've already brought to bear. You know, remember in Pisces season, second house, it's how you want to measure that sense of self-worth. You know, where are you attaching it to? Because if you're too focused on the wrong area, you know, if it's all about the money, or if it's all about, you know, the body and the way you look, or if it's all about, you know, having that perfect relationship, maybe it's going to be more challenging for you to recognize how much good is working in your favor and how many things are actually coming in the way that you've asked for them to. Okay, so Oracle card coming through is card of affirmations. We have this beautiful reminder of the alignment of your chakras and needing to kind of find that centered place, and the activation of all of this, allowing this beautiful radiance, this energy just rippling out. And you know, even though we have challenge, we have some quite kind of chaotic energies going on in your reading. When we look at what's coming through from this, it's a reminder that you can still find the stillness and the peace, linking very beautifully in with that High Priestess. So if you're coming up against some aggro in your relationships, or you know, some challenge in some of the connections you may have with people that you're working with, I want to say go back to base, go back to a centered place where you can find those powerful, you know, words or affirmations, or the narrative that you're saying to yourself to remind you how far you've come, who you are, who you want to be, because I think there will be moments through this month of March when people start to see how you're changing, Aquarius, that they'll want to try to pull you back. They prefer the old you. They like you in a place where you may have felt more disconnected because perhaps their vibration is a bit lower and that's where they were meeting you, but you're not wanting to come in at that kind of wound level anymore. You're elevating and moving to a much higher frequency, more beautiful energy. So make that your priority, and take the learning. Okay, we have the card of the cat. So lots of black cats coming up in this reading, which for me are very symbolic of good luck. And I do think that you are set to see something turning to your advantage, although I have a sense of you not really feeling the full fruition of that quite yet in March. You know, you could get the rumblings of it, the sort of, you know, small signs showing up, but rest assured there's definitely some fortuitous blessings that are coming in. And that beautiful full moon in Virgo is bringing a trine to Jupiter, and in your 8th house of deep transformation, I think you are set to see something coming out of that that's going to be really favourable for you. But the cat is also about intuition, and again linking in with High Priestess, telling you, reminding you that where you're being called, you know, to step back or to step into something, you have to really honour that, because if you don't, you're going to start to feel that inner conflict and that sense of struggle, because going back just kind of isn't an option really. I do have a sense that maybe there is somebody around you that you feel is still avoiding, or you can't quite get a full sense about them. So there's a bit of trust coming up, I think, as well through this month of March, a bit of uncertainty. I think, again, you're being asked to just go a bit deeper, maybe not look at the surface of things. And if you're really trying to understand where someone's intentions or motivations lie, I think you'll get a really good feeling for that if you can take some time to sit quietly, connect into your guides and your energy center, and that's going to come through really strongly for you. Beautiful number of 3 coming in with the cats there, just talking to me about new creation coming through, ideas that are divinely inspired for you as well, okay? But they're all very focused and alert, and I think that's the other thing that I get coming through, that even though when we're in Pisces season and that very Neptune energy, where you do at times need to slow down, you know, you do need to kind of move into that very quiet space, you are still very awake and very alert. And I think that's a result of, you know, a lot of the inner change and the growth that you've been working on for yourself, Aquarius. Okay, so I hope it's given you some insight for the month of March. If you would like to join me for the extended reading, we're going to go ahead and pull some more cards, and we will just dig a little bit deeper into some of the messages that want to come through. I'd like you now just to think about a specific question, Aquarius, something that's on your mind that has maybe not been covered in the cards, or something in a different area. And we'll look at this in the extended, but I'm just going to go ahead and pull a couple of cards for it now. So if you just think about that question, I'll pop these down just now. Okay. Right, now we are going to bring some clarifying cards in for these energies. So let's just kick off with the High Priestess. 7 of Cups again, okay. Such beautiful spiritual energies coming in for you. King of Cups coming in with the 3 of Cups. Okay, could be another water sign, a Pisces, Cancer, or I'm kind of getting drawn to Scorpio energy as well for some of you. I think there may be a situation where you feel a little bit unsure or uncertain with regards to this water sign. Okay, King of Pentacles, maybe even a choice there. With the 3 of Cups, we could have a bit of a third party situation going on, and 5 of Swords, so definitely causing some headache for some of you. Chariot bringing through the Emperor. I think this is really all about you regaining control, Aquarius, where you feel you may have lost it. Of course you haven't really, but 3 of Pentacles, just being more productive than you have for some time through that month of March. But again, I feel like more kind of behind the scenes. Hanged Man with the Queen of Wands. Ace of Swords. Beautiful. Your card, Star Energy, right in the center of your reading. The antidote really to any of that kind of disagreement or quarrel or difficult energy that you have to navigate through. And the card of Justice. Okay, really like that for you. Could be a Libra energy as well. We'll take a look at that in more detail. Maybe an earth sign here. But also I just feel this is about you just being more productive. Page of Swords. Okay. News coming in for work for some of you if you're waiting on communication about an offer or a contract or a new client coming in. I think any time sort of after the 7th to the 10th of March, you're likely to see more information coming through. 9 of Swords with the 7 of Wands. Do not let fear stop you moving forward on the ideas or the approach that you think you want to take. You are right. 8 of Pentacles, okay. 10 of Swords with the 7 of Cups. I mean, this really is a sort of ending of a cycle as we begin Saturn in your sign this month. So okay, Aquarius, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. If you have resonated, please do drop me a like or a comment. I look forward to connecting with you in the extended if you would like to join me. Otherwise, I'll speak to you again next month, sending you bright blessings. Bye for now.